President Trump signing an order just a few hours ago for a 25% tariff on auto imports, taking effect next Wednesday. Let's take a listen.
What we're going to be doing is a 25% tariff on all cars that are not made in the United States. If they're made in the United States, there's absolutely no tariff.
U.S. President Donald Trump has announced a 25% tariff on all car and light truck imports into the country.
Germany, the car industry is king, and that key sector looks set to face a harsh new reality soon.
Engines cool while headlines heat up. Imagine waking to a bulletin that 3 renowned German luxury makers are preparing a sharp pullback from the United States after an abrupt tariff shock. Sticker prices quiver, supply lines knot, and competitors quietly recalculate their plans. It sounds improbable, yet every step follows a logic we will reveal later on in this video. This is not rumor chasing. It is a carefully constructed scenario to test how sudden policy turns ripple through factories, showrooms, and paychecks. By tracing causes to consequences, we uncover what really moves an industry and why early signals often matter more than loud announcements. Before we begin, make sure to hit the like button. It helps us beat the YouTube algorithm. Start with the spark. In this scenario, a steep across-the-board import tariff lands without a long runway for adaptation. Executives study cost sheets, analyze exposure to imported modules, and assess the feasibility of localizing content under tight timelines. Luxury brands with complex global sourcing face an immediate choice: raise prices and risk demand erosion, absorb costs and erode margins, or compress portfolios and pause lower volume imports. Each option carries trade-offs. None are cost-free. The calculation becomes a multidimensional puzzle measured in weeks, not years. Consider how a modern vehicle reaches a driveway. Behind each badge stands a network linking foundries, chip designers, battery partners, logistics hubs, and skilled technicians. When policy changes overnight, the network cannot simply pivot on a dime. Tooling must be re-qualified. Software integration needs validation cycles. Safety protocols demand rigorous retesting. Even packaging specifications must be revised. A tariff shock does not only touch final assembly, it reverberates through the quiet corridors where engineering drawings, supplier schedules, and quality gates keep complex products moving in sequence. Dealerships feel the tremor next. Floor plan financing terms tighten as holding costs rise. Managers reassess trim mixes and option orders, anticipating which models can carry higher transaction prices without stalling. Service departments review parts pipelines and plan substitutes that meet warranty standards. Customer conversations shift from color and upholstery toward availability and wait times. A showroom thrives on predictability. Variance is its adversary. In our scenario, retailers do not panic, but they do pivot, preparing for leaner allocations and more transparent communication about delivery uncertainty. Before we continue, make sure to hit the subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow. Workforces, meanwhile, look for signals that matter: training schedules, overtime outlooks, and production cadence. Skilled teams in design, testing, and manufacturing rely on stable horizons to plan careers and family budgets. When the horizon blurs, leadership must provide realistic milestones and credible contingencies. That may mean investing in cross-training to redeploy talent across platforms, accelerating maintenance projects during slower weeks, or temporarily reshaping shift structures. These measured responses keep capability intact while demand finds its new level under the revised cost structure. Suppliers face their own chessboard. A module producer with a single luxury marquee as anchor customer reassesses volume assumptions and cash reserves. Firms with diversified portfolios, including commercial and aftermarket channels, may cushion the dip. Others seek bridge financing to navigate the transition. In contracts, force majeure language rarely solves operational math. What helps is collaborative forecasting and prompt visibility into engineering changes. Scenario planning pays dividends here. Teams that pre-modeled tariff bands can execute playbooks rather than scramble for first principles under pressure. Numbers matter, and we state them carefully. In this scenario, a tariff band set around 25% on select vehicles and components reshapes the landed cost equation. A crossover packed with imported modules becomes materially more expensive to import. Localizing content can offset part of the shock, but tooling, validation, and supplier development consume time. Pass-through pricing risks, thinning the consideration pool. Margin absorption can preserve volume, but stresses future investment budgets. Portfolio pruning, though painful, may preserve brand equity by avoiding sticker whiplash. Now to the strategic fork. Luxury brands value consistency and premium trust. If short short-term economics turn unfavorable. A temporary market pause on specific trims or powertrains can be a rational bridge, not an exit. The choice is less about retreat than about safeguarding long-term positioning. Pausing allows teams to renegotiate component sourcing, recalibrate pricing ladders, and bring regionalized updates online. In our model, communication emphasizes service continuity, parts availability, and warranty honor. The relationship with owners remains paramount even if certain shipments slow. Domestic automakers encounter crosswinds of their own. At first glance, reduced competition in several luxury niches seems like open highway, yet many domestic models rely on global electronics, advanced driver assistance hardware, and specialized driveline parts. Tariff friction touches those inputs as well. Development roadmaps must juggle cost management with the imperative to keep technology fresh. Healthy rivalry has historically sharpened engineering decisions. Without it, there is a risk of comfort. Leading teams counteract that risk by setting internal benchmarks above the market and shipping to those standards. Exports also enter the picture. American-built premium sport utility models often ride outbound to distant markets. If trading partners respond with countermeasures on finished vehicles or components, the arithmetic around export mix changes. Ports feel the variance. So do rail yards and trucking corridors that feed them. A resilient strategy emphasizes diversified destinations, flexible production that can swing between trims, and proactive government-industry dialogue on standards alignment. Predictability is the currency of cross-border manufacturing. When predictability falters, capacity planning requires even tighter discipline. What about consumers? Affordability sits at the center of purchase intent. When transaction prices rise, buyers adjust timing, consider certified pre-owned options, or shift across segments. Transparent financing, longer warranty horizons, and well-structured maintenance packages can stabilize decisions. Communication that respects the audience, clear, neutral, and specific, builds patience even when availability narrows. In our model, retailers prioritize accurate delivery windows over optimistic estimates, and they explain why certain combinations are constrained. Clarity preserves confidence. Technology pipelines deserve a closer look. Infotainment stacks, battery management software, and driver assistance algorithms all evolve on rapid cycles. Tariff headwinds can unintentionally slow adoption if hardware pathways grow costlier. To avoid stagnation, engineering leaders double down on modularity, designing platforms that accept multiple component sources without compromising safety or user experience. Software-defined architectures help. When features can be decoupled from single supplier hardware, the ecosystem gains room to maneuver around bottlenecks, keeping innovation on track. Let us address the unspoken question teased at the start. The twist is that our scenario does not hinge on a singular personality or a single social media post. It hinges on system design. Industries built on tightly synchronized, internationally distributed tasks are exquisitely sensitive to abrupt cost shifts, no matter who announces them. The identity of a decision-maker may color the headlines, but the mechanics underneath remain consistent. Contracts, compliance, revalidation, logistics, and human expertise. Understanding those mechanics turns noise into navigation. Regionalization then becomes more than a buzzword. Companies seek to balance efficiency with resilience by building families of parts that can be produced in multiple locations with minimal revalidation. That approach requires early investment in common standards, supplier development, and digital twins to validate changes quickly. It may cost more upfront, yet it often pays back when policies or crises change the calculus. In our scenario, firms accelerate dual sourcing for critical electronics and establish training exchanges so technicians can support mirrored processes across regions. Attention turns to research and development footprints. Design studios, calibration teams, and software labs gravitate toward locations offering talent density, stable rules, and proximity to test fleets. If one region grows turbulent, another can shoulder a sprint phase, ensuring that the next generation of platforms remains on schedule. The goal is not to abandon any market. The goal is to distribute capability wisely. This approach respects employees by offering mobility paths and sustained learning, while protecting customers with steady progress on safety, efficiency, and digital usability. Workforce development is foundational. When uncertainty enters the system, the most durable assets are people who can learn new tools, collaborate across borders, and maintain quality under pressure. Apprenticeships, credential programs, and vendor-agnostic training give technicians and engineers portable skills. In our model, companies lean into continuous education partnerships with community colleges and universities, maintaining a pipeline of talent that can flow to where it is needed most. Stability for families grows from stability in skills, not simply stability in orders. Environmental goals remain in view. Electrification cycles, energy sourcing for plants, and circularity plans for batteries do not pause because trade conditions shift. In fact, resilient sustainability strategies often benefit from regional supply chains. Shorter logistics lanes cut emissions, while localized recovery of materials reduces dependency on distant mines. In our scenario, firms expand partnerships with recyclers, invest in second life energy storage pilots, and refine traceability systems so buyers buyers can see how materials move. Policy may change quickly. Climate targets and safety obligations remain steady. Data transparency forms another pillar. Investors, employees, and customers seek credible information about what is changing and why. In place of dramatic slogans, leadership offers dashboards that track build rates, parts availability, and service performance. In the retail channel, clear explanations of delivery windows and option constraints reduce frustration. Inside factories, daily stand-ups keep teams aligned on quality priorities and tact time. Precision language and consistent reporting build trust when headlines are noisy. That trust becomes an operational advantage. Small and mid-sized suppliers need tailored support. They often operate with thinner buffers and depend on predictable orders to service equipment loans. In our model, larger partners advance collaborative forecasting, share engineering resources for retooling, and negotiate fairer cost sharing on compliance shifts. Public-private programs can help finance energy-efficient upgrades and workforce training. The aim is to preserve capability density so that when demand stabilizes, the ecosystem remains intact rather than hollowed out. Healthy supply chains are community assets, not abstract line items. Consumer protection considerations also surface. Warranty coverage, parts access, and software updates are commitments that outlast any pricing debate. Responsible brands reaffirm these duties in plain language and allocate inventory to service channels before chasing incremental sales. Doing so protects resale values and owner satisfaction. In our scenario, even with constrained imports, service bays remain stocked, technicians stay certified, and remote diagnostics continue improving uptime. The message is straightforward. Customers are not left behind, and safety comes first. International alignment can ease friction. Mutual recognition of testing protocols, digital customs documentation, and harmonized cybersecurity requirements reduce duplication across borders. None of these steps eliminate structural policy differences, yet each trims hours from the calendar and dollars. Remember to hit like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Your support means a lot.